Okay, multiplying decimals. So with multiplying decimals, there's really no shortcut to this aside from just knowing multiplication facts or being able to do some sort of multiplication. So again, I'm going to show you some different strategies. Problem number one, just a quick review again, just making sure that we remember our signs. So when you multiply two negatives, you get a positive. So this is just positive 18. The next one, a review of fractions real quick. So remember, you write that over 1, 2 negatives again, make a positive, multiply the top, 2 times 5 is 10, bottom 1 times 3 is 3, get 10/3, or you can rewrite that as 3 1/3. At this point, you should know how to convert to mixed numbers if necessary. Then we get to problem number 3 with a decimal. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is deal with my negatives. So I have one negative, so I know my final answer is negative. Okay, so that part's out of the way. Then I'm going to come down here on the paper a little bit, and I've got 2.9 times 2.3. So I'm going to show you a strategy here that I use for multiplying, and it's a review again. Now of the FOIL thing, you can do the whole column thing and do the vertical method of multiplying. I told you I hate that. So I'm going to try to explain this where it makes sense. I don't see that as 2.9. I see that as 29. And the reason I say that is when I'm done multiplying and I get my answer, I'm just going to move my place or my decimal 2 places to the left, because that's what happens when you multiply here. So I'm looking at 29 times 23. But again, I don't see it as 29 times 23. I see 29 as 30 minus 1. I see 23 as 20 plus 3. So again, this goes back to the whole FOIL thing. And if you learn this, it is going to help you tremendously later on in the algebra part. So we do the first. 30 times 20 is 600. Outer, 30 times 3 is 90. Inner, negative 1 times 20 is negative 20. And last, negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Then I combine those. That's 690 minus 20 would be 670. Minus 3 would be 667. So this is 667. But again, going to go back my 2 decimal places. So I have to move my decimal 2 places to the left. So I end up here, and my final answer is negative 6.67. Now again, this is easy if you have a calculator, but without a calculator, it's a little bit more difficult. Okay, let's do the next one. The next one's even, to me, even easier. Okay, so this goes back to knowing some multiplication facts. Now we have only done really through 20, but we have done some like these. I'm going to talk about that here. So first of all, again, all I deal with first are my signs. I have one negative, so I know I'm going to have a negative. It's my final answer. The next thing, I don't see that as 1.5 times 1.1. I see 15 times 11. Well, I know my 11s, and I know this is going to be 165. And then I take care of my 1, 2 decimal places. So I move my decimal place 2 to the left, and I get negative, let me put that in black, negative 1.65. Alright, what about the last one? The last one's a little bit harder because obviously they're bigger numbers. Again, the first thing I'm going to deal with are my signs. I have one negative, so my final answer is negative. Again, I see this as 86 times 46. So I'm going to write 86, and you can do this however you want to. If you just like doing addition, then do 80 plus 6. And then do 40 plus 6. Again, it's up to you how you want to do it. Now I'm going to do the FOIL. 80 times 40. Well, I know 8 times 4 is 32, and I have 2 zeros, so that's 3,200. outer, do red here, sorry. Outer 80 times 6 would be 480. Inner 6 times 40 would be 240. And then last, 6 times 6 would be 36. So that's all addition. I'm going to do the middle first. 480 and 240 would give me 720. Add that to this, 720. Help give you a visual here. 3,920. But then I have 36 I have to add to that. So that's going to be 3,956. Now, again, I have to deal with 2 decimal places. So really, that's going to end up being 39.56. So that's my preferred method. However, I will review real quickly another way of multiplying that you're probably more familiar with. And again, it's up to you how you want to do it. But if you want to do the whole vertical method, that is fine. So if you do negative 8.6 and 4.6, so just to review here, first thing you do is 6 times 6, which would be 36. So you have to carry that 3. And then you have to do 6 times 8 is 41, plus 3 is 51. Then you're going to put a 0. And then you've got to do 4 times 6 is 24. Put 4, carry your 2. Then you've got 4 times 8 is 32, and 4 is 34. Then you add straight down, and you get 6, 5, 9, 3. Do your 2 decimal places, and you've got to remember your sign, and we get the same thing. So that's a quick overview of how to multiply involving decimals, but also a quick review of multiplying fractions and integers.